From Kern Government Television, welcome to this week's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting, originating from the County Administrative Center located at 1115 Truxtun Avenue, Bakersfield, California. Kern County's vision is to create and maintain a customer-centered county government designed to garner the confidence, support, and trust of the people we serve. Today's Kern County Board of Supervisors meeting will convene momentarily.
Board to reconvene. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Supervisor Gleason.
Here.
Supervisor Scrivener.
Here.
Supervisor Maggard.
Here.
Supervisor Couch.
Here.
Supervisor Perez. Here.
Thank you. I'll now ask our County Counsel, Mark Nations, to give us a report on actions taken in closed session.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The board met in closed session on items 51 and 52 from this morning's closed session agenda. No reportable actions came out of either of those. Item 53, the closed session was commenced, but due to press of time, it was postponed and will reconvene following this public session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nations. Okay, now we'll begin with our consent agenda. If you'd like to follow along with our agendas, they are located at the tables near the exits. All items listed with a CA or a C above the item are considered to be routine and non-controversial by county staff. The CA represents the consent agenda for the Board of Supervisors. The C represents the consent agenda for the Kern Sanitation Authority and the Ford City-Taft Heights Sanitation District. Consent items will be considered first and may be approved by one motion. If a member of the audience wishes to comment or ask questions regarding an item or items on the consent agenda, they may do so prior to a vote being taken on the consent agenda. A member of the board may remove any item from the consent agenda, and it will be considered in listed sequence with an opportunity for any member of the public to address the board concerning the item before action is taken. So at this time, I will read the consent agenda items for the Kern County Board of Supervisors. Starting on page 2, item 5 is on consent. On page 3, items 6 through 9 are on consent. On page 4, items 10 through 14 are on consent. On page 5, item 15, as well as 17 through 22 are on consent. On page 6, all items 23 through 29 are on consent. On page 7, all items 30 through 37 are on consent. Are there any members of the public that would like to make any comment on any of the consent agenda items for the Board of Supervisors? Okay, seeing none, then I'll return to the board and ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda and adjourn as the Board of Supervisors and reconvene as the Kern Sanitation Authority.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, so we're now sitting as the Kern Sanitation Authority. We have one item to consider under consent. That's item number 1 on page 2. Do any members of the public wish to make comment on item 1? Okay, seeing none, then I will return to the board and ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda and adjourn as the Kern Sanitation Authority and reconvene as the Ford City-Taft Heights Sanitation District.
Motion. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please cast your votes.
The motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. We're now sitting as the Ford City-Taft Heights Sanitation District. We have one item to consider. That's item number 2. Do any members of the audience wish to make comment on item number 2? See none, I'll return to the board and request a motion to adjourn as the Ford City-Taft Heights Sanitation District and to reconvene as the Kern County Board of Supervisors.
So moved.
Second.
Please cast your votes.
Motion is approved. All ayes.
Okay, so we're now sitting as the Kern County Board of Supervisors, and we will proceed with our agenda. Item number 3, public presentations. This portion of the meeting is reserved for persons to address the board on any matter not on this agenda, but under the jurisdiction of the board. Board members may respond briefly to statements made or questions posed. They may ask a question for clarification, make a referral to staff for factual information, or request staff to report back to the board at a later meeting. Are there any members of the audience who would like to make a comment under public presentations? If you would, please come forward. We ask that you state your name and observe our 2-minute time limit. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon there. My name is Newt Berry. I'm with Bakersfield Spa and Institute, a massage school. Last month, you guys passed an ordinance, a new massage ordinance, and I'm here to talk about that and address that. Also, there's handouts here that Ms. Krause is.
We have them. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. The ordinance that was passed last in August is an illegal massage ordinance. and I'm going to state a couple of reasons why. But basically, anybody that has gone to a school that's registered under the Department of Consumer Affairs, the state allows for them to work and get licensed. This ordinance does not allow for that locally to happen. Thusly, it's illegal. The city and county can regulate a lot of the zoning, the health, the different things, but not the right for somebody to work and to get licensed. This is the CAMTC, which is a organization. It's not a state organization, even though it offers state licensing. People go there to get licensed. This was designed to be a voluntary licensing option, not a mandatory one. The massage ordinance that you passed here last month created a mandatory and no other option locally. This is illegal to do. Also, in addition to that, there is preventing the healing arts profession, which is a high degree in the massage and health industry. This was eliminated out of the massage ordinance. Once again, state of California allows for that. It's another illegal act. There's limits here that the county and the city can and can't do. And right now that my massage company, my massage school, feels that I'm being regulated as an adult entertainment establishment, once again, under state of California, it's another illegal act. You increase the massage establishment permit from $75 a year to $1,600. I feel that's excessive taxation. I'm asking today that I'm requesting that the ordinance that was passed last month be immediately suspended and returned to the old ordinance until a new ordinance can be drafted, because my business and my school is at jeopardy. I thank you very much. If anybody has any questions, my numbers and stuff is located there. And by the way, I'm the oldest massage therapist in Bakersfield, and there's only 2 schools left. I am in the county. David Couch, you're my representative in the county. I'm on Stockdale Highway. Thank you very kindly.
Mr. Berry, we appreciate you coming in and providing this to us in writing. It's my understanding that you have been in discussions with Matt Constantine, who heads up our public health department, or at least with some of his staff, and that you've identified, that staff's identified 7 recommendations that they're currently evaluating. Is that your understanding?
Yes, I did meet with them. Ms. Kraus was able to set that meeting up for me over there very quickly, and I did appreciate the valuable time that we did spend together. I'm coming here today to draw some more attention to this matter. My school and my company is in jeopardy because none of my students can get licensed, none of my graduates can get licensed. In addition to that, there's several people in the county of Kern that cannot get licensed. And I understand that this ordinance takes effect immediately and is requiring all of the massage establishment in the county of Kern to pay $1,600 for an establishment permit. I paid for 1 year already, and so I was expecting to be good for a year, and now they're telling me that that's null and void, and I have to come up with $1,600.
Okay, thank you. We're not going to be able to obviously resolve this today. However, Mr. Nations, you have a copy of what Mr. Berry has provided. Do you have any comments at this time, or do you have a suggestion as far as when you would be able to evaluate the points that he's made in this and get some kind of response to the board as well as Mr. Berry and the health department as well, public health?
Yes, this is the first I've seen or heard of this, so we'll take a look at it, and I would think within a couple of weeks, we should be able to give Mr. Berry our response as well as your board.
Okay. And then we will request that Mr. Constantine and his department continues to meet with you once Mr. Nations has had an opportunity to evaluate this. So we will make sure that your concerns are analyzed and you get a response, and then the board will proceed accordingly once our staff has had a chance to look at what you've presented to us. Okay?
Okay, I understand that there's a process that the county council and such go through as far as advertising and posting and notifying the public with regard to this. There might be some confusion out there because the city of Bakersfield is looking at drafting up a new massage ordinance and has been going there, and they've had several meetings and a lot of people opposing it. And I think that if they did anything here, if county council or whatever did anything here to notify any of the people in the county that there was some confusion, that everybody is thinking this is the City of Bakersfield massage ordinance, not the county. I especially went personally myself to the county sheriff's office and asked, hey, are you going to do anything on the ordinance? And they said, no, we're waiting for the city. So, and they're going to follow suit what the city says. And for the county to all of a sudden have this passed is quite surprising. So I think they might have missed the loophole on notification and publication of this new ordinance.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Berry.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any comments from members of the board? Supervisor Gleason?
Thank you, Mr. Barry, for coming in. Appreciate it. I had a conversation with Mr. Constantine this morning about this particular issue. We reviewed a bunch of things regarding the timelines of implementation and how we notified people, how we went through the publication process, how did we do that? Was it fair and balanced? Did we give everybody a chance to make comment? What about the $1,600 for the people whose business margins are razor thin now? How can we ensure that these people, we pass something that is meaningful to the entire community and still enables them to profit in their businesses? And Mr. Constantine said that he assured me he's working one-on-one with everybody involved. He's not rushing to collect funds from anybody. There's a 1-year window for implementation of several aspects of the ordinance. So in the meantime, while we're going through this, I'm led to believe by Mr. Constantine that there's not going to be an immediate financial responsibility that you're going to have to pay. There's going to be some time for us to go through this thing and make sure that what we're doing is working out correctly. So I don't want you worrying about a panic about coming up with $1,600 tomorrow, because that's not the case.
That's not my main concern. My graduates and my students, we can't get licensed.
I hear you.
I'm shut down.
I understand.
There is no, and I really do appreciate the meeting with Mr. Constantine and his staff and he was very kind, very generous with his time, and it was an excellent meeting. In fact, one of the best I've had with the government office.
Okay.
But this is a little different than the $1,600. I'm out of business at this moment, basically, and I'm trying to get back into business. No one wants to go to a school and learn something and graduate, but can't get licensed. I can't get licensed anywhere.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Any other questions?
No, thank you, Mr. Berry.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public presentations? Okay, so now we'll move on to board member announcements and reports. Supervisor Perez.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Alsup, we have discussed, or I've asked you to please take a look at the prescription program, prescription discount program that 35 counties in California use, including Tulare, Kings, Fresno. I think we're one of the few here in the valley that are not currently providing this service to our constituents as of no cost to the county to consider it. And I'd ask if you and your staff could bring that back formally to this body, please, with the support of this board, of course, to consider moving forward in Kern County and offering this service to our people.
Mr. Chairman, Supervisor Perez, if you're speaking about the coast-to-coast pharmaceutical discount card, that's a long-time California State Association of Counties public-private partnership that they've had in place that provides, as you said, residents of counties who are endorsing the program to purchase pharmaceutical items at a reduced cost, significantly reduced cost. I believe somewhere between 35 and 40 counties in the state are currently have endorsed the program and are using the program, in addition to a whole bunch of other counties across the country. Several, of course, in the Central Valley, Fresno, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Ventura. There are many others who use the program. Doesn't cost us anything. We don't have to do any of the work. The cards are distributed by the company to local pharmacies, including all the major name pharmacies, and residents simply sign up using the card, and they're able to take the card in. Particularly helps people that don't have insurance, or people who do have insurance where their insurance may not cover certain drugs. And in those cases, they might be able to use this particular card for a discount there. But I'm happy to bring that back for the board's consideration, just a standard resolution endorsing the program.
Well, I appreciate all the research that you have done. I am aware of multiple counties throughout the state that use it and see it as a huge benefit to their constituents, no cost to us, of course. And so I would hope my colleagues would consider this when you're able to bring it back to us. But that is my motion. Do I need a motion on the referral, Kathy? Yes, okay. So that's my motion then, to have staff come back and put forth to my colleagues the possibility of offering this to our constituents.
Okay, we have a referral. Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Becky.
Okay, please cast your votes.
Motion is approved. All ayes.
Thank you. Okay, that brings us to our last item of business today. This is item 16 on page 5. This is an item under County Administrative Office. This is a report on Kern County's Lean Six Sigma implementation and continuous improvement initiative. We'll start off with our CAO, Ryan Alsop, and I know he has a couple of members of his staff that have been working on this that will present as well. Mr. Alsop, please.
Mr. Chairman, only to say Mr. Wiebe and Ms. Ruiz, who are both with the CAO's office, will handle this item. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. To start off today, I think what I'd like to do is direct your attention, and I'll bring it up on the screen, to a new website we've developed. It's called Launch Kern, and this will be a way for us to publicly document our deployment of continuous improvement methods, including Lean Six Sigma, as well as our strategic initiatives, and how it fits into those strategic goals for the county. To provide some context, I thought it might be helpful to kind of reaffirm or restate why your board provided the necessary leadership and direction to adopt these goals in this continuous improvement initiative. It was just over a year ago, in August of 2016, your board approved a 4-year fiscal deficit mitigation plan to resolve a net loss of $46 million in property tax revenue. In a time when the demand for services only continues to grow, we truly had to find a way to do more with less. Your board directed staff to begin the process of implementing a continuous improvement initiative founded on the principles of Lean Six Sigma. And to get us started, we are very lucky to have a partner, an early adopter in our Behavioral Health and Recovery Services Department, and Bill Walker, who had already started this process. And we formally launched our program in partnership with them with introduction and leadership workshops that began in April of this year. We've trained 200 county leaders over 16 workshops without using general fund money in the principles of Lean Six Sigma through introduction and leadership workshops. The final of these 16 workshops recently concluded last month, and leadership learned the fundamental tools and understanding of Lean Six Sigma, which will help the department leaders with their implementation and motivate them to ensure their staff get the training to begin implementing projects. So that's where we are today, and I'll go to a link that talks about our deployment plan on the website. So what we've done is up here, the workshops for introduction and leadership workshops. And what happens next over the next 12, 18 months is we engage staff, frontline staff and their supervisors to lead from the ground up. We will continue with monthly workshops, open up to staff, and provide them with the tools to implement projects, and more importantly, engage county staff by giving them ownership over process improvements. So we've got currently 12 workshops over the next 9 months to begin this and get as many staff involved as possible. As needed and as demand requires, we will step that up. In addition to that, we will train no less than 10 green belts that will kind of serve as a central strike team to do larger, more complex projects that touch every county department, whether that be payroll, whether that be fleet, purchasing, but some of those central service areas that touch every county department. Greenbelts will look at some of those bigger impact issues as well during this next 12 to 18 months. So that's kind of our deployment plan over the next year or so. I think it's very important to understand some of the early pilot projects we've conducted and maybe to talk about the website in a little more detail as Ms. Ruiz from the County Administrative Office.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. As mentioned, our team has created this new website to showcase the county's commitment to launch Kern in our continuous improvement initiative. The purpose of this site is to provide updates on the county's efforts and highlight our department's project successes. When the projects page is accessed, we have departments that have already completed or are currently carrying out their own continuous improvement projects. I would like to provide a brief overview of their efforts. First, Behavioral Health and Recovery Services identified that many of their county vehicles were underutilized and staff at times preferred to use their own personal vehicles. To improve mileage distribution, Behavioral Health collected mileage data and implemented a new key management system. In the initial 6 months, the department has reduced its fleet size and reduced personal mileage reimbursement costs by almost $24,000 when compared to the same period last year. Next, if you are a property owner, you will be receiving an updated tax bill, as you see on your screen. This updated bill was a result of the Treasurer Tax Collectors Project to reduce the number of incorrect and duplicate check tax payments. This update, in addition to a collaboration effort with local escrow companies, is expected to reduce phone call inquiries from the public, reduce the number of incorrect check payments, and reduce the amount of staff overtime during the tax deadline season. More data will be available following the upcoming December tax deadline. Next, Human Resources has completed their project and implemented a new electronic benefits package for all new and current employees. All employees will now have access to their benefit information from their computer with the ability to consult their loved ones. The estimated savings are about $27,000 due to reduction in printing, mailing, and staff costs to produce and deliver the documents countywide. Lastly, the California State Association of Counties, also known as CSAC, awarded Planning and Natural Resources with the 2017 Merit Award for implementing an electronic-based permit system for energy permits. The program in the last year has processed over 2,000 oil and gas permits in an average of 4 to 6 days, when the process had historically taken months or years to complete. The department anticipates cost savings attributed to the reduction in staff time and costs associated with obtaining permits. We will continue to update the website and your board with the results as these projects are completed. We hope to grow this site as departments begin their own improvement projects.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the final thing I want to mention is, as part of our deployment plan, we are working with each department to identify deployment leaders. Most, if not all, departments have identified someone in their department who will serve as a liaison with our office to really document and communicate the successes that they have in their department, and we'll put it as part of this website, update your board on a periodic basis or as you request. And so we're really excited to convey those additional success stories that we'll have in the coming months through these various county departments. That prepares all of our comments, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Wiebe and Ms. Ruiz. I'll now ask if there are any members of the audience who would like to make comment on this report. Okay, seeing none, I'll return to the board. Supervisor Gleason.
I love it. I love it. It's outstanding. Did you say that you have a tracking method for projects completed? Did you have a tracking method for projects underway? Or how do we know what we're doing now? How can I look at this and say, okay, who's doing what?
Supervisor Gleason, through the chair, we have a form that is nearly completed that will standardize and document projects. They were kind of on an ad hoc basis up till now, but we're working with a consultant and have a simple form, but very thorough in terms of documenting the process improvement and the outcome, meaning results related to cost savings, improved value to constituents. So we're going to add that to the website when it's completed, but it will be ready for our first workshop for line staff later this month.
Okay. I'd also like to have, Jason, if someone come by and talk to me in my office about, not today, but soon, about who all are participating, who are the outliers, who, what departments are doing what and how they're doing, all that kind of stuff, and how we can motivate and motivate people to understand the value of this and to participate. So it's a complete Kern County mission that we're on. So could you do that? Come by the office sometime? We'll talk.
Through the chair, absolutely, be happy to do so.
Thank you, Jason. Appreciate it. Thanks, Chairman.
Thank you. Supervisor Couch?
Thank you. Thank you guys for your report. I want to thank you for your work on this whole, I was going to say issue, but it's really an effort. And there's a committee that's sort of helping direct this with your assistance, and I want to recognize one of the members, Mr. Voiland, is in the audience. I think that's Eugene, isn't it? And so I appreciate your input and your involvement in this. And I know we say this over and over again, but I don't think we can say it often enough. This is not an effort to try to take someone's job away from them. This is an effort to give employees the ability to do their job better, faster, cheaper, what have you. But it's not an effort to downsize the organization. That's not what this is about. So anyway, thank you for your help. You need a motion to receive and file the report?
Yes, we do. Also want to recognize Romeo Agbalag is here with Kern Citizens for Sustainable Government. He's also a member. He's way in the back. So
didn't see him.
Yeah, but he's here as well, and so appreciate him being here. And just the, what's so great about this? It's a bottom-up effort. You have folks that are in the rank and file, not just management, that are identifying issues, problems, and ways in which they can be improved. The efforts from mental health to treasurer, tax collector, and others, and our planning directors here. Obviously, it was a huge effort on that oil and gas EIR and ordinance, and so we're seeing county departments from up and down the ranks that are getting engaged, getting excited about it, and are delivering. And I think what Mr. Wiebe said that I think needs to be underscored again is that we're going to make sure that we show the deliverables. How did we improve the service to the public? How did we save money? I think that's very important so people can see the value at the end of this effort in each and every one of these different initiatives that various county departments are taking on. So well done. Really appreciate your effort, and thank you for the participation from members of the public that are here as well, and all of our county employees that are excited about this and are getting on board, because that's important, as Supervisor Gleason I think alluded to, is just a culture change where this is a mission that the county is on to improve our service delivery and hopefully find ways to streamline and save money and provide a better product to the public. So thank you. We have a motion to receive and file.
Second.
Sorry, Mr. Alsop, you want to add something?
Yeah, I just wanted to add a special thank you to Mr. Wiebe and Ms. Ruiz for all their work. They're really carrying this from the CAO's office and the website development, the training, scheduling people, keeping the ball rolling. And as you know, this is a marathon, not a sprint, and it's a long-term effort. And so I just wanted to thank both of them for doing really important work for our county. Thank you.
We appreciate that, Mr. Alsop, and that's their efforts. Mr. Wiebe, Mr. Ruiz, you guys have been great on this, and it really is apparent each and every time that we have one of those strategic initiative meetings, how much work you're doing and how well the projects go along. So thank you so much. Okay, we have a motion to receive and file and a second. Please cast your votes.
Excuse me, the motion is approved, all ayes.
You may have said this, Mr. Wiebe, and I missed it. When are we going to get another report back on progress?
Mr. Chairman, the intent would be quarterly, should it warrant it, but that's kind of our guideline that we'd like to follow is quarterly reports.
Okay, thank you. That concludes our business for this afternoon. Our next meeting is Tuesday, October 17th at 9 a.m. Do we have a motion to adjourn? We are adjourned.
Yes, you do.